this context, Johnson's comments about the risk of war served both as a warning and a reassurance to both the American people and the world that the U.S. would remain steadfast in its foreign policy goals and would continue to navigate the complexities of the Cold War despite the tragic loss of President Kennedy. John J. McCloy, who was a member of the Warren Commission, had extensive business and political ties that included connections to Nazi Germany before World War II. His involvement in Germany's industrial and financial sectors before and after the war has long been a topic of historical scrutiny. Before World War II, McCloy was a prominent Wall Street lawyer with the firm Cravath, Swaine, and Moore, where he specialized in international finance. His legal work brought him into contact with I.G. Farben, the massive German chemical and industrial conglomerate that played a significant role in the Nazi war machine. I.G. Farben was deeply intertwined with Nazi Germany's economy and was involved in the production of chemicals, synthetic rubber, and fuel that were essential to the Nazi war effort. McClure advised I.G. Farben and other German businesses before the war, particularly on legal and financial matters. He helped facilitate the U.S.-German business dealings at a time when American investment in Germany was still legal and profitable. McCloy later became Assistant Secretary of War during World War II between 1941 and 1945, where he played a key role in U.S. military strategy and policy decisions, including the internment of Japanese Americans and the decision not to bomb Auschwitz, despite knowing about the concentration camps. After the war, he was appointed U.S. High Commissioner for Germany between 1949 and 1952, effectively making him the most powerful American official in post-war Germany during the occupation. His role included overseeing the denazification process, but controversially, he commuted the sentences of several high-profile Nazis and industrialists, including figures from I.G. Farben, who had been convicted at the Nuremberg trials. Fritz Termeer, a high-ranking I.G. Farben executive convicted of war crimes, was released early under McCloy's orders. Many former Nazis and industrialists were reintegrated into German society and politics under McCloy's leadership. In 1963, McCloy was appointed to the Warren Commission, which investigated the assassination of President John F. Kennedy. His presence on the commission raised suspicions among some researchers due to his background in intelligence and finance, as well as his deep connections to powerful elites. Due to his background, critics argue that McCloy was part of a powerful network of business and intelligence figures who influenced global politics behind the scenes. His involvement in German industrial finance, his post-war clemency decisions, and his role in the Warren Commission have led some to question whether his participation in the Kennedy investigation was intended to reinforce the lone gunman narrative rather than explore potential deeper conspiracies. McCloy had significant financial and legal ties to Nazi Germany, particularly through I.G. Farben, before World War II. His influence in post-war Germany and his participation in the Warren Commission make him a controversial figure in the 20th century history. Some researchers believe that his presence on the Warren Commission was part of a broader effort to maintain the official narrative about JFK's assassination, while others see him simply as a high-level establishment figure with extensive government experience. Several members of the Warren Commission had backgrounds that have raised suspicions among researchers and critics as the official narrative regarding the assassination of President John F. Kennedy. Many of these individuals had deep ties to intelligence, big business, and Cold War era politics establishments. Below are some figures from the Warren Commission who, like John J. McCloy, had questionable backgrounds. There was Allen Dulles, and he was the director of the CIA from 1953 to 1961, making him the most prominent intelligence official on the commission. He had a personal vendetta against JFK, as Kennedy had fired him in 1961 following the disastrous Bay of Pigs invasion, a CIA operation that aimed to overthrow Fidel Castro in Cuba. The CIA had been involved in secret plots to assassinate Castro, and some researchers argue that rogue intelligence agents were also involved in Kennedy's death. Dulles had deep ties with to Wall Street, elite globalist circles, and covert operations, raising concerns that his role on the Warren Commission was to protect the CIA's interests rather than conduct an impartial investigation. The CIA was one of the agencies most suspected in involvement in JFK's assassination, yet its former director was placed in charge of investigating it. Dulles played a key role in shaping the Warren Commission's narrative, especially regarding the conclusion that Lee Harvey Oswald acted alone. After that, we have Gerald Ford himself, a congressman from Michigan at the time, who would later become the 38th President of the United States after Nixon's resignation. Declassified documents later revealed that Ford secretly acted as an informant for the FBI, leaking details of the Warren Commission's inner discussions to J. Edgar Hoover's FBI. Ford pushed the official single bullet theory, which was crucial in supporting the idea that Oswald acted alone. By leaking information to Hoover in the FBI, Ford played a role in shaping public perception of the investigation. As President Ford appointed George H.W. Bush as CIA director, further linking him to establishment political networks suspected of involvement in covert operations. As Chief Justice of the United States, Orville Warren was reluctant to lead the commission, but President Lyndon B. Johnson pressured him into accepting the role. Warren was also involved in the cover-up of key evidence, including restricting access to JFK's autopsy reports. He opposed investigating CIA and FBI connections to Oswald, despite evidence that Oswald had been monitored by multiple intelligence agencies before the assassination. His role as Chief Justice gave the commission credibility, despite his reluctance to fully explore alternative theories. Warren sealed key assassination records for 75 years, fueling speculation that there was more to the story than the commission admitted. Then we have J. Lee Rankin, and he was a Washington insider who played a major role in shaping the Warren Commission's final report. He actively suppressed witness testimony that contradicted the official story, such as evidence of additional shooters or connections to intelligence agencies. His handling of the medical and ballistic evidence was critical for being biased towards confirmed. No, his handling of the medical and ballistic evidence was criticized for being biased towards confirming the lone gunman theory. Rankin ensured that controversial evidence, such as discrepancies in the medical report, was either ignored or downplayed. He helped craft the final narrative that Oswald acted alone, despite conflicting testimonies and evidence. After that, we have Senator Richard Russell Jr., and he was a powerful Democrat senator from Georgia and an influential member of the U.S. military and intelligence establishment. He privately doubted the single bullet theory, but was pressured into signing off on the final report. Russell had deep ties to the military-industrial complex, which stood to benefit from Kennedy's assassination if it meant escalation in Vietnam. Russell's private doubts contrast with his public endorsement of the report, suggesting he reluctantly went along with the cover-up. His connections to powerful Cold War policymakers make him unlikely to challenge the official story. While John J. McCloy's pre-war financial dealings with Nazi Germany and I.G. Farben were deeply controversial, he was not the only member of the Warren Commission with a questionable background. Several other members had strong ties to the CIA, FBI, military-industrial complex, and intelligence networks, leading critics to argue that the commission was designed to reinforce the lone gunman theory rather than seek the full truth. Allen Dulles, who was the former CIA director fired by JFK, helped shape the Warren report despite the CIA being a potential suspect. Gerald Ford secretly leaked information to the FBI, pushed the single bullet theory, and later became U.S. president. Earl Warren restricted evidence, sealed records, and prevented deeper investigations into the intelligence agencies. J. Lee Rankin controlled legal proceedings and suppressed conflicting witness testimonies.